How y'all doing, man? It's Tammy. I'm back with y'all again. This is For the Love Of, and this time we're here in New York City. We're about to go interview some people. We're about to go to Central Park and also Times Square, and we're gonna see what we can find. I got some people here with me. I got,
what's going on, guys? It's Star Roy making an appearance in the video.
So let's see how it's gonna be. Yeah.
Island boy.
See, in New York City, in the subway stations, you'll find a lot of people who do street performing and busking. There's a guy right now playing a guitar. I want to ask him questions, but one thing I've learned from trying to talk to musicians is that while they're in the zone playing, you don't just walk up to them and be like, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. You know what I'm saying? You ask them some questions. You feel me?
You see in Dominican Republic, me, my friend, Piquito English, nosotros, y América, ¿qué tal? Amigo, siempre me vengo pasa, un beso para América. Bachata para produces, para produces.
Downtown. How do we get to downtown?
What he said?
Well, so the guy didn't speak English. He said he was from the Dominican Republic, and that he said something about music being in a bachata band, and that I'm pretty sure he's just here helping out family. I couldn't really understand him too much, but from the looks of it, he was kind of just like, I don't know, he kind of seemed like he expressing himself. And that's one thing I like about the street performers and the buskers, they come here for work, but it's also kind of like, it's a way of like expression, you know what I'm saying? And it's a really good way to get money, especially places like Times Square. But now we actually gonna try to go downtown and actually speak to somebody who speaks English to actually kind of like answer some of our questions. All right, come on. This last semester, one thing I noticed is that a lot of street performers, like, they have like certain spots and certain like areas that they kind of like go to and kind of like stay at. So when it gets like cold and stuff like that, you see them like inside a lot more. When it's like warm, you see them like outside in like Central Park. You see them outside by like Columbus Circle and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool seeing the guy there, like, cause we were literally looking for people. Nobody.
Right there in the corner.
The moment we come in, you know what I'm saying. So yeah. But yeah.
Probably some others on the train. So like once you come out of the whatever train we come out next.
42nd.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's usually a lot of people. One also thing I'm hoping, there's a guy who's a rapper. His name is Eddie. By the way, if you're a rapper and you like to rap, every Friday, I think it's starting in May, Legendary Cyphers at Union Square, go to it, I'm telling you. There's a rapper named Eddie, and like he raps in 42nd a lot. And every time he's in 42nd and I go there, I see him sometimes and I'll like talk to him and like I'll rap with him. It's like super dope. So I'm hoping to see him there today. If he's there, you know what I'm saying, that'd be fire.
What do you call it? Like, I want to call it rap battles, but like that was basically is like
Yeah.
having that 42nd shoot.
Yeah, like rap battles or cypher.
Gotcha.
Cypher.
It's more professional.
Yeah. You feel me? It feels weird having on camera. You know what I'm saying? Ooh.
It was kind of fun, not gonna lie.
Taking B-roll. I should have taken B-roll. Alright, wait. Hold on. Let me tell y'all the reason why we're doing this in the first place. Trying to get more open space. So, now y'all stand right there. Right. So the reason why I'm even doing these interviews in the first place is because last semester was the start of my thesis year in architecture. And for my thesis, I decided to do a performance center. So for the performance center, I wanted to create a space for people who don't have accessibility towards learning music or towards trying to perform. So I wanted to come up with ideas and designs in order to do that, because there's a lot of opportunities for people, but not that much accessibility. So the reason for the interviews is to help gain insight for those designs, because how my mind's thinking is no better way to actually create a performance space than from the idea in the minds of performers. So I want to go around asking these people certain questions, you know, to kind of like gauge how, you know, like they came up in the music, how they started busking or street performing, you know, where they wanted to take them, and then eventually get into an architectural sense of how can a space be created for people who want to learn how to make music and perform, or even do street performance and stuff like that. So it's not really just like going around asking, oh, who's your favorite artist, but it's genuinely trying to like gauge the mindset of an artist to see what, you know, like what type of environment or atmosphere would be perfect for a space that's for artists and for creatives, you know, and that's the goal for it. You know what I'm saying? We're calling it for the love of, you know, ... because we're trying to find out, you know, what people are doing it, and you know, you're doing it for the love of music, for the love of money, for the love of, you know, life, for the love of whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you're just trying to gauge those people and, you know, see what they, you know, have to say about it. So hopefully we get some good interviews, hopefully we get some good, you know, answers, and, you know, we'll see what happens. I think after Times Square, I think we're gonna go to like either like Brooklyn or maybe the Bronx or something. I know eventually I'm gonna go to Staten Island, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yeah, you know. Right. Yeah, I know. So what's it called? What was I about to say? Oh yeah. In terms of architecture, nigga, walk with me, nigga. Let me stop. What's it called? In terms of architecture, one important thing that we try to analyze is like sound and stuff. So whenever I'm trying to look for like street performers, I always try to like listen and like hear the sounds and stuff like that. Cause sometimes like when you come off the trains or you just walking through the streets, you hear a guitar playing or you hear a saxophone playing, and it kind of wants to like lead you towards it. It's almost like a directional like adventure that's, you know, taking place in a sense. Sorry. But how I'm trying to explain it is that, you know, I'm trying to create a space where you're kind of like on the outside and you hear music like how we're hearing music right now. You kind of want to walk towards it. So let's walk towards it. Look at these niggas. Look at these. Look at them. Just lazy. Slacking. Are you supposed to keep this shit gangsta? What's up? So once again, like I said, no, keep walking. Like I said, I thought it was a man. It's kind of hard to talk to street performers while they're performing. So sometimes you kind of just have to like wait right next to them, or kind of like indicate that you may want to ask a couple questions, because they're doing it a lot of times for a job or to get money. So not everybody has like the time or the efficiency to just stop and like hear what you have to say. But we're gonna try anyway. You know what I'm saying? See now, this is a different type of street performer. This guy's not playing any instruments. This guy's not sitting here, you know, strumming a guitar. Instead, he has, you know, his mannequin there, and he's about to do some couple of things. Because when you're street performing, it's not just about playing music. There's like a multitude of arts that you can take place in. I've come and I've seen people rapping. I've seen people dancing. I've seen people like selling arts and stuff like that. It's just the value of being on the street, performing and stuff. It's a different type of street performing than just like playing an instrument or something. You know, how does it exactly operate? Can you tell us exactly what exactly is going on?
What's going on right now, because we started the dance with the mannequin, with the doll long time ago, 45 years ago. I'm working the Soul Station with him, dance with the mannequin, I'm from Colombia. I'm coming this that's better dance with the mannequin because the mannequin is ready anywhere, anytime. Don't say nothing. It's like the people how to dance different music, Latin music, and all music people like it and dance. It's more easy for me and for him.
So what's the cultural background from this dance? Like, how did like this originate? If you know.
So you know, he's trying to explain with the performer that's easy for him dance, easy dance, and he that smile to the people.
How was your experience free performing then? Is it easy? Is it hard?
And it's very hard.
It's hard?
Yeah.
Can you tell us some of the hardships that go through?
You know it's hard, you know why? Because I like people like you, nice people talk to me, but people in the street thinking, oh, that's in the street, that's not good, that's crazy, you know? And that is nasty sometimes. But some people put the garbage or see the water. Come on, go to the state, go to the college. There's no job, there's no real job. Come on. But that's 20% the people, 80% people like it. Many people around the world.
Right. You said that some people say it's not a real job. To those people, what would you say?
When the people like it, say, oh, I would like to do something like you, but I don't have energy, I don't have, it's not easy for me, but congratulations. But other people, it's not easy, this is not real job, come on, go to work, go to construction, but they think like that, I don't care. But you know, it's just 20% people like this.
How long have you guys been doing this for?
And so we stay for 30 years.
30 years?
Yeah, 30 years.
Nice. Oh, okay.
Okay, guys.
Have a good one. Thank you so much. Have a good one. To the people, the guy told us that they've been doing it for about 30 years and that it's a form of income. He says that a lot of times he gets like a lot of nice reviews, but there are some people who come and kind of make the experience unpleasurable. Throwing food or telling them to leave the area, you know, kind of just making it hard, you know. Showcasing that in a lot of spaces for busking, you know, there's a hardship of kind of like acceptance there. And sometimes it's kind of like, you know, because they're on the street, because they're not, you know, in a special space, they may be seen as some type of way or seen as some type of thing. So, you know, it was really insightful to talk to the guy. But now we're going to try to go by the NQRW train and see what else we can find. All right, that's a beautiful name. Hi, you know, so we found another person. I'm about to go see if he wants to be interviewed, and if he's able to be interviewed, we'll ask him a couple of questions. He looks like he has a drum, and I don't want to take too much of his time, so, you know, let's go. So the question, the topic is street performance.
Okay.
So how has music helped you?
How does music help me?
Yeah.
Well, the music I do is part of. Do you want me to look at the camera or look at you? Or, I mean,
either one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the music I do is part of my spiritual practice. So what I do is I chant what's called the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So it's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Right? So those are different names of God. And since God is absolute, His name is pure and transcendental. And by chanting that mantra and by putting it out there, it creates a transcendental environment. It purifies people's consciousness. So this is just, so how does it help me? It's like an integral part of my spiritual practice, this chanting, this music.
Well, you talked about music and God. Do you think music has a divine aspect to it? Or do you think it's divine in itself?
It's not divine in itself. I mean, music is very powerful, and it very much touches us emotionally and on a subtle level.
Yeah.
But there's three different levels of existence. There's like the gross material, where you like just physical things.
Yeah.
There's the subtle material, like the mind, the intelligence, the false ego. and then beyond that is the soul, you know. So music really touches people, you know, on the up to the subtle platform, and it can touch people spiritually, but it just depends on what the music is, what the consciousness of the person is, because it can also bring you down depending on what kind of music, you know, it is.
That's interesting. I've actually never heard that response. Most people are just like, oh yes, it's divine, it's you know, completely spiritual. But that's a very insightful intake on it.
Yeah.
Like really. How long have you been street performing?
Well, let's see. I've been well, really since like 2013. So I've been in New York since 2018, 2019, you know. But I lived in like North Carolina before, and I used to go out on the street and chant there as well. So.
Yeah, do you like it? Like, what are some of the hardships of street performing?
Well, it's just like now it's a little cold, you know. Yeah. I mean, like especially in the morning. I usually come in the mornings. I mean, I don't know. I like it, so I don't really. I think the only difficulty that comes sometimes is just sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's a little hot. Otherwise, you know, I don't really find many problems with it. You know?
All right. And sorry, my last question.
Yeah.
How does your environment shape your view of music?
How
does your environment shape your view of music?
My environment in the sense of,
or just like in general, like how does somebody's environment shape their view of music?
Well, I think that okay, first of all, probably people are gonna like the music that you hear growing up or whatever. That's gonna be sort of what sticks with you. But for me, again, it's like I've been fully engaged in spiritual practice for the last like 30 years. So that's kind of, that spiritual practice has sort of shaped my view of music, and you know, most of the music I listen to is just spiritual music, you know? And you know, like I said, music really is very powerful in how it can affect the mind. So it can either elevate you or it can bring you down. You know? So I think, you know, people have to be careful about what they take in. You know, so for me, like trying to cultivate a spiritual practice in a spiritual environment, I try to keep the music on the spiritual level, like listen to spiritual music, which is music that's talking about God, contains God's names, and is trying to, you know, bring us to spiritual consciousness.
Nice. Is there anything you want to add or say to anybody watching?
Anything to say to anybody watching? Well, what I would say is that the chanting of Hare Krishna is a very powerful method of spiritual realization. And in fact, it's probably the most effective and most powerful. You know, so the names of God are pure and holy, and by chanting those names, we can purify our heart and purify our mind of all the dust of material existence, you know. Because everybody wants to be peaceful and everybody wants to be happy, and we're searching after it in all kinds of different things, but nothing material is enough to satisfy the soul. Everything here is temporary and impermanent, and the soul is eternal and permanent. So we want, the nature of the soul is to be happy permanently, and that's what we're seeking in all these things, but nothing is giving us that satisfaction. So we have to purify our consciousness of all these material desires so that we can come to the spiritual platform. And the easiest way to do that is by chanting Hare Krishna. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too, take care.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Thank you. Alright, so now listen. We're listening. We just fulfilled another interview, you know what I'm saying? Going for the squad.
Yeah.
Now we're about to go walk over there. We're gonna go outside, find one more person, and then start going.
Question.
Make sure to get that guy's stuff.
Because like this is really personal right now.
You're right. One cool thing about sound in a space is that when you're kind of walking away from it, you still hear the sound, but as it fades out, it becomes more in the background. So it's almost like a separate room. In architecture, we call that form and space. And you can incorporate sound into form and space. You just have to find a void for it and then fill that void. So when you enter a space, if we walked away from the street performer now, you would hear less and less of the music until it's gone. It's like leaving a room. But the closer you get, the louder it becomes, the more clear and sharper you can hear the music. That's like entering a room. So the form and space of an architectural space can be influenced by sound, and the sound itself can influence the form and space of an architectural space. Let's go.
Express 3, train 2, New Lines Avenue, approaching the station. Please stand away from the platform edge.
Fucking hate stairs, bro. Bro, where are these niggas? Dog.
Please step aside and let the customers off the train first.
Why?
Now here we are in my territory, you know what I'm saying? So here we have another street performers in the subway system. The subway system is a very good architectural space for street performers to come. It's outside of the weather. There's a lot of people passing through, especially if you go to one of the hot spots like Times Square or even lower, you know, like Union and stuff like that, because people are circulating through trying to get home, trying to get places, and sometimes, you know, like they'll be walking through and they'll just stop to listen and hear your performances. But behind us there's a guy who's rapping right now and he's kind of going off. I'm gonna try to talk to him to kind of try to get some questions, because right now we've heard somebody who was in a bachata band. We've seen some people who had like that dancing skeleton. We just talked to that religious guy, the monk who plays the drums. And so we're just kind of, this guy, he's a lyricist. His instrument is his vocal, so, you know, let's see what he got to say about it, you know? Let's go. do the little thing you were going on.
Oh,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
But, so, I'm a YouTuber.
Okay.
You know, I haven't dropped any videos yet. This is about to be the second one.
Okay.
But I'm also an architecture student who's trying to create a performance center.
Nice.
Right, for my thesis.
Okay.
So one thing I'm doing is I'm designing this space for mainly street performers and mainly people who want to get into learning how to do it,
Okay.
who don't have the access to learning how to either perform or even learn how to play instruments. So I just have a couple of quick questions, about 5, 6 of them.
Yeah, sure.
The first question I have is that, like, is this a passion or calling or a hobby for you?
It's definitely a passion. It's definitely a passion. I'd even say it's a calling as well, because I feel like it's come out here in front of New York. You know what I mean? Like this ain't a hobby. Like you have to love it to do this, because you meet all kind of characters. You know, people walk by you and not give you any time of day, or people will stop and rock with you. So you gotta love it, whether they walk by or not. You know, and that's why you got to do it.
All right, how long have you been street performing?
For years. Maybe like 5, 7 years. Like before COVID. Because before COVID, I was living off of it. I was on the trains. I was like Monday through Friday. I was out there like 5, 6 hours a day, rapping on the trains. And after COVID, I came out here. Now I do it like a little less, but I'm just trying to get it back to the same consistency. But this is my lifestyle. This is how I live.
Nice.
Yeah.
What would you say like the hardest part of street performing is?
The hardest part, just getting out there. I feel like that's the hardest part in everything, really. Just getting out there. It's getting out there, then it's understanding what you want to give to people. You know, because you gotta practice. You know, you gotta put your time in. Getting out there is one thing, but if you're trash, you know, people not gonna respect that. You know what I mean? So you gotta put your time in, get out there, build confidence, but be fun, be free, have fun, and just enjoy yourself. Like understand why you're doing it. Yeah, you might be trying to make a living, but it's deeper than the money. You know what I mean? And once you understand it's like a more of an energy kind of situation, it makes a lot more sense.
Nice. So, you know, there's a communal aspect in like music and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when you hear like certain songs or even certain albums that have dropped, or even like certain like live performances, a lot of times you can see like the way it can kind of like bring people together, and the way it can kind of like, you know, change people.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say music itself is to you? You know, like how would you categorize it, or how would you describe it?
I think musical is like I think it's one of the most beautiful things and one of the most powerful things. Because it goes back to that thing I said about energy. You know, it resonates with people in so many different ways. It's like my music can touch you, but not physically touch you. You feel me? And that's an energy thing, you know. So it's understanding that like wherever you're from, whatever you're going through, wherever your culture is, we all share this thing called life. You know what I mean? And that's born from the energy that we share, and that's where the community comes from. Because it's like when you're putting your heart into something and you're just like losing yourself in the moment, and people are just coming around you, surrounding. It's like people are resonating with the genuine love that you have for something. Because there's a lot of hate and nonsense in the world, but love will always shine through. You know what I'm saying? I feel like so you do something you love to do, people will resonate. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be music, it can be whatever. But that's what it's about.
You know, and I see you over here rapping. Today we've interviewed a lot of different like street performers, but you're the first person we've interviewed who does rapping. Okay. Me myself, I also rap. I was freestyling since I was around 14. Okay. So a couple of years. How would you say like music, like stuff like rap and stuff like that, gives people opportunity to be able to express themselves, gives people opportunity to be able to kind of confront certain feelings or like emotions that are within themselves?
Nice question. So you got to understand what hip hop is. You know what I mean? Hip hop, when it started, hip hop was just the voice of the people. You know what I mean? Like they weren't trying to be anything. They were just talking about the shit they were going through. You know, so it's once you understand that hip hop just gives a voice to people without voices, and then it's like, all right, if I'm gonna be out here rapping, I have a responsibility to show up and be a voice for someone who might not be able to express what they're going through. You know, like a lot of people go through depression. You know, but some people might not know how to express it or deal with it. So, but for me, I can take what I went through, put it on the mic, and someone be like, yo, I feel that, man. Like I was feeling down, but coming in here, you was like, yo, that gave me, it inspired me, gave me, you know, a reason to keep going. So in that, it's just like with rap, it's more than just, oh, I got chains and I got cars and girls, but it's more than that. And once you understand how deep it goes, you understand that your voice is the greatest instrument out there. So that's what it's about.
Would you think the best way for somebody who wants to start like learning to perform or learning to even play an instrument or even learn how to rap, what's the best way for them to metaphorically express their voice? You know? Like even if it's through like playing the piano or like, you know, drawing pictures, what do you think the best way for somebody who wants to start, you know, doing that? You know,
practice. I like that. Because like I didn't know how to rap when I first started, you know what I mean? I didn't come out the game like, oh yeah, like no, I was a poet first. Like I couldn't even flow, I couldn't do none of that. But I had some stuff I had to get off, and I felt this was my outlet for that. So, but I want to say it took me 10 years before I even feel like I could express properly. You know what I'm saying? So it's just practice, just putting the time in, because you might find your outlet, whatever it may be, but you might not know what to do with it. Like you know you can hit a key on the piano, like, oh, I like that. Yeah. But you don't know if you can make a song. But you keep practicing on it, eventually you're writing your own songs. Everything that you're feeling, you're just putting into the keys and everything. So yeah.
I love your answers. I love your answers.
I love your questions, man. It's a good question.
And then this is my last question, maybe. But if you were an architect or if you were like a designer and you were given the ability to create a space for people who want to perform, whether it be on the street or in a professional setting, for people who want to learn to make music, how would you kind of go about doing it, you know?
So, all right, that's a loaded one. So
yeah, sorry, you know.
No, that's fine. So first off, you need a space where they can perform, you know. So you need that. But if you wanted to be street performing, you needed to have good foot traffic. It needs to be open to the public, and you have to be willing to, you know, deal with some characters here and there. And then to actually implement programs within that, I would do workshops. You know, so like let's get me for example, right? So I do my thing, and let's say I have like 400 or 500 people. Now I'm doing like a cipher/class. You know, that's gonna inspire us to everyone get better. But now we're doing it in the middle in the street. So now people are watching us doing it. It's like, oh, okay. And now they're getting their confidence. I'm still doing what I do. People are enjoying a little show. Everyone's walking away with something. You know, and I feel like that's a good way to kind of just build community. And also jam sessions. You know, just have open jam sessions. Like, all right, we got a vocalist, got a drummer, keyboardist, whatever. And that just inspires creativity. It just inspires more people to work together. And just encourages people to be out there.
Nice. Are you familiar with Wu-Tang?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? You like Wu-Tang?
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
I'll take that.
But On the topic of Wu-Tang, you know, like their inspiration in terms of the rap scene, they were really like very prolific because they came from Staten Island, which didn't really have a voice.
Yeah.
But they broke through forcefully and gave it a voice. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about Wu-Tang's contribution and their like, you know, they're adding to hip hop and like its legacy and stuff?
Yo, Wu-Tang's phenomenal, man. Like they're such a powerful group because they're just so like outside of the lines, you know what I mean? Like they bring the ruckus and all that. Like they're just so wild with it. But like again, you have to understand where it came from. Like at that time, it was, you know, a lot of police brutality. Like it was a lot of attacks on black people. And I feel like Wu-Tang was not only a voice, but like that loud, like just like frustrated voice. Like, oh, like, I need to break some shit. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, but they weren't. They were like that, but they were still smart. You know what I mean? They were still intelligent in how they were getting that out. And I think they're also a great example of community and coming together. So I feel like Wu-Tang is obviously a staple in hip hop. I feel like Wu-Tang shaped a lot of just like maybe like some like the rage like that Travis Scott be doing it, like just getting out like that raw emotion. And I feel like that Wu-Tang really captures that. Like they're one of the best groups for that.
Really? Nice, man. Well, that's all the questions I got, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, man.
I didn't do this with the other street performance because I forgot.
It's okay.
But the channel is called For the Love Of.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is say your name. Oh, you have a card?
Yeah.
Y'all make sure y'all see that. We recorded the Instagram and the Venmo, so hit that up too.
Yes.
So the channel itself is called For the Love Of. Okay. So what I want you to do is just say your name, what you do, and say, you know, I'm doing it for the love of, and then whatever.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? All right. So go ahead.
What's going on, y'all? This is J La Soul here from Queens, New York. I'm a freestyle MC in New York, and I do this for the love of the music.
You know what I'm saying? Thanks, man. That nigga J La, you know, he also goes to the legendary ciphers. You know, I'm a rapper myself. I would have gone the mic, but you know, I don't want to do it to him like that. You feel me? But y'all should definitely go check his stuff out. One thing I really like about street performers is that they're very open on to like the reason why they do it and the love of it, because they like genuinely interact with more people every day than you would ever expect. I mean, you gotta think about like how many people pass through a subway station in New York City itself. Hundreds, thousands. So, you know, their ability to kind of gauge people and view how people react and view what people like and kind of like learn how to do that. It's kind of like natural learning of performances. That's why these type of people are the best type of people who make the greatest celebrities, because they already know how to like handle themselves, especially in large crowds, especially to control crowds or even to gather and bring them in. And that's a very important part about being a performer. He talked about in terms of an architectural sense that if you want to build a space for performers, well, one, you would need a space, but you need a space that accommodates them for them, you know? And he mentioned jam sessions, and I thought that was really, like, impactful. Because, you know, I'm in a band, and, you know, whenever we have jam sessions and random people come to jam also, it's always, like, a crazy thing. So I'm really glad to talk about it, and it was fire. And he's a dope rapper, too, so let's keep going. We're going to go outside, or, well, we'll see.